Welcome to Podnutz, Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 136. I am Jeff Halash. This is our live call-in show for computer repair techs. We bring you tips and ideas for your IT business. The call-in number is 1-888-697-0162. Let me introduce the co-hosts. We have Chris Carruthers from the Remote Support Tech team. How you doing, Chris?
I'm here, Jeff. How about you?
Yes, I see you're here. Where are you exactly?
I am in Toronto. I don't think you would call this downtown, but I am in Toronto right now, parked on the side of the road.
So you are podcasting from your car again.
On location in the rain.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Thanks, man. All right, also joining us today, we have Matt Rainey from Podnutz Pro and InformedIT.net. How you doing, Matt?
I am doing great today. In my house. Thank you.
Yes. It's kind of, I like sitting in my room, so I totally understand that.
Yep.
Also joining us today for maybe only a short bit of time, but that's okay, is Corey Fruitman from Instant Housecall. How you doing, Corey?
Not bad. How about you?
I am doing much better now that people can actually see you.
That was a big bone of contention, eh?
Well, you know, I mean, this is a video show, so we like to, you know, I mean, it's an audio show too, but it's, you know, on Sundays we like to have everybody's pretty faces show up on the feeds, and I don't know what we're all doing here, but whatever, you know, it's. Anyways. All right, very cool. So great to have you guys, and let me do a little bit of housekeeping talking about some of the things that are coming up. We have Jetpack Live is presented by Instant Housecall, our good friend Corey Fruitman here, and hosted by myself. Meet fellow techs and business owners online. Learn real ways to grow your IT business. You'll hear tales from the trenches, learn sales and marketing tips you can actually use. You can chat online during the show. It is June 29th through July 20th, 2015. So 4 Mondays in a row. It'd be every Monday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely go to itjetpack.com and sign up for that. I do have a link in the show notes that you can do that. For the last 3 weeks, I've had that in there, 3 or 4 weeks. So that's going on there. We are starting tomorrow, and I am excited. We got a lot of people that are going to show up, and we're going to have a good time talking about tech as we normally do. Hopefully things to help you guys out. We also have the CompTIA ChannelCon August 3rd through the 5th in 2015, this year, in Chicago. You can go to the link in the show notes for your free ticket to CompTIA ChannelCon in Chicago, provided by Instant Housecall. Also, guys, if you could do us a favor, we have an escape from the room. So what we need you guys to do, if you're interested in that, go sign up for Jetpack, go to the Connect page on Jetpack, and start buying your tickets for Escape from the Room with Real Zombies. Yes, I said real zombies.
Real zombies.
Real zombies. When you sign up for Jetpack, you can go to that Connect page and get your tickets. You can send me an email if this is something you plan on doing, and we can pre-purchase the tickets for you to buy there also. So we just want to get an interest. We've got to basically, the person who's running it has to hire the zombies, so they've got to get that set up, and so we can have those. The more the merrier. I think we're going to have a good time, and what we'll do is I think we got a couple rooms right now. And Corey, if we need to, if a lot of people sign up, we can probably add more rooms on and stuff like that too, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
Okay. Very cool. And also, we're going, the day before the CompTIA ChannelCon conference, Lisa Hendrickson from Call That Girl is hosting a Tech Nibble and Podcaster Meetup. It's Sunday, August 2nd at 5 to 7 p.m. at the CompTIA ChannelCon in Chicago. Get a chance to mingle with the Podnutz Tech Nibble, Mike Tech Show, the Computer Business Podcast, and Tech Vets communities. I will have a link in the show notes for you to sign up for the meetup, just to let us know you're going to be there, so we can get a chance to talk to everyone. Yeah, so that's what is going on. A full-packed, I think, month and a half is coming up here, and I'm excited to get some more things done, not only for stuff like that, to learn about my business, but also to further my business along. So let's start with, I'll tell you what, let's start with Matt. Matt, what have you been working on or learning in your business as of late?
Well, the past couple of weeks I've been dealing with crypto wall a lot.
Still? Okay.
Yeah, two a week for the past couple of weeks.
Oh.
So what I've learned is users really don't know what to click on and what not to click on. But I was surprised. And it was actually myresume.zip. 2 or 3 companies got that email.
So they opened up a zip file thinking it was what?
A resume.
A resume, but the people who open the resumes aren't involved with any type of hiring or reviewing resumes. So why they would open a zip file that says myresume.zip, and inside of that is a 1K HTML page that they click on, and it takes you to, I have the path, but it's some PHP script on some website somewhere.
Oh.
Now, one of the three actually was hiring.
Oh, looks like Matt froze. Oh, that's a bummer that CryptoLocker is still, I mean, people are still getting it. And, you know, I hope in today's day and age, I hope people are backing up. I think that's the main moral of the story.
Well, you'd think so, but, I mean, I'm telling you, front lines, not happening.
How do we get people to understand how important it is to back up your files, especially businesses? It doesn't.
They have to lose
sense.
an important file before they realize how important it is.
Right.
Most people don't back up until it's already too late. It's like a will.
Yeah. Well, you can't really do a will after you've.
And you can't get that picture back either, right? So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you back.
There's a storm going through, so I think my internet dropped for a minute.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, we were talking about this. So people are still getting into CryptoLocker. We were just talking about now. Did these people have backup or not?
Oh yeah. One of them was on the GFI managed backup. The other ones were using Aperture backup appliances. So it's not hard to restore. Delete everything. You search for that help decrypt text file. Find all the effective. Because these are on servers, so of course they encrypt every network drive.
Sure.
On multiple servers. So I just got to find the extent of it, find all those files, delete them all, restore. So it's not the bad part.
Nope.
Hey, he's
he
gone
dropped
again.
out again. He must be a real bad storm going through there. All right, Chris, what have you been working on or learning in your business? I guess we'll move on from there.
Sure. Well, we're doing a lot of virus removals. You know, that's not really different from many weeks. We're still tweaking and improving some stuff with Enable because we want to be able to expand that type of service. So we're moving into that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, we're coming into the summer, so we're trying not to put too many projects in there all at once, so that we can you know, support all the people over the summer whose kids manage to infect their systems.
Now, are you finding is it a lot of malware, or are there a lot of actual viruses that are attacking the systems?
It's a mix. I mean, half of the time what winds up happening is they get infected with some sort of a virus. The virus downloads the malware. The virus gets cleaned by their antivirus. The malware stays.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, somebody was mentioning something to me the other day, and they said that Windows is always supposed to be this more secure thing, and a lot of people will say things like people are going to go away from Windows if Microsoft keeps acting like this, and to that I say, no, they won't. But whatever. No. You can think that if you want. The reality is everybody's going to have, the majority of people are going to have Windows. That's just the way it is, so that's what we support. And I think a lot of times people are thinking that, these things are going to be able to repair themselves and, get rid of this malware and different things. And the reality is, if you've done a couple refreshes on a Windows 8 machine, you'll understand that it doesn't work exactly the way that Microsoft designed it to work, because it still screws some things up. Now, is the machine workable? Yes. Does it break some things in like the sign-in for the Microsoft account and the apps? Yes. Most of the time it does. So you've got to go, especially when a person does it because they're not really paying attention, they're clicking a bunch of buttons because the machine's telling them they need to refresh, they hit them, and the next thing they know, they go, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and all my software is gone.
Yeah.
So I think we will still be in business for a very long time, and I'm still seeing a ton of people with laptops, even more importantly than like tablets and stuff like that. So anyways, So Matt, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. You must have a bad storm coming through there or something.
Been every storming for the past 2 days over here.
Oh, it's nice and sunshiny up here, and I've got the window open, and it's beautiful weather. But we kind of had that for the last couple of days, where it's been raining a lot.
I have a house a few miles down from me. Got struck by lightning last night. It burned down.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay. No, that's heavy duty there. Wow.
Like, it's been bad.
So a lot of the same types of things. We've had crypto wall, we've had viruses, and so coming to Corey Fruitman. Corey, what kind of things have you been working on or learning in your business?
I've been working on Jetpack with you, so so lots of different stuff, actually, stuff that I'm not used to. So just rallying troops and getting stuff together and all kinds of fun stuff.
No, that's cool. Yeah, we've been having a good time, learning. I kind of learning some things together. I know I've been teaching you a couple things. You've been teaching me some things, and we're kind of learning how to set things up. And I've got kind of what we do here on a regular basis. I kind of learned by trial by fire. And of course my co-host, you never know where he's going to be. He could be in the car. He could be by a lake. He could be out on his back porch where it's raining. I mean, it's just. You never know. So he always keeps me on my toes. Chris, are you still there? And nothing. Okay. Anyways, so no, we've it's been fun learning that, and I'm excited for Jetpack coming up. We start tomorrow morning. So
yeah, it's coming soon.
Yep, absolutely.
I gotta tell you, all the stuff that you do on a weekly basis amazes me. Because, like, for me, this is my first kick at the can, so I'm learning all this stuff. But boy, oh boy, holy jeez.
There's a lot to it, more than what people actually think. I will tell you that.
Yeah, if your audience doesn't appreciate what you do, boy, I do.
Well, I appreciate that. I think most of them do. They understand. We give the content here, and hopefully we're doing something good that's helping people, and that's the whole point of it. So,
hey, I got a question about the zombie escape.
Yes.
I don't know if Trish was confused by this, but when you go to the Connect, you actually have to go browse to the correct date, right, to buy the tickets.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, I was looking at it, and I might have confused some people as well. So they have to know, even if they click on game 1. You still have to go.
It's still going to go to the same spot from what I can tell. We've got basically 24 slots right now, and basically you can just go up, just buy your tickets. Once we get there and get ready for the game, we'll kind of divide ourselves up between the rooms, and if we have to add more in, we will. But right now, people just need to buy the tickets for the Escape from the Room with Zombies. And then we'll get stuff organized when we actually get there on the ground.
Right. So when they go to buy, it says choose your month. You've got to go browse to this month of August.
Correct.
And then you've got to click on the correct day and time to buy the tickets. So it's going to be Sunday, August 2nd. Invited guest only.
At 10 o'clock. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it says Jetpack Zombie Escape right on there, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a. Yeah.
Okay, before it just said, it didn't even say, now it says Jetpack Zombie Escape. Okay, so they have to browse to that month, go to August 2nd, and then buy the tickets that way.
Absolutely.
Okay. Just clarifying. Because click on game 1, game 2, it takes you to the same place where you still have to go browse to it.
Yep, it's identical. So what I'm imagining is once the first 12 tickets are sold, it'll probably move into the next 12 tickets, so on and so forth. So, because it looks like the same exact sign-up. And boy, Chris leaves at a great time when I needed to ask him some questions about what he's doing. Oh, bummer. All right, anyways, I'm sure he'll be back with us here shortly, so let's go ahead and go into some emails, and we can basically talk about some of this. This email is from Jason. It says, "Hi, Jeff. I recently got hired for an IT position at a local company in my area." Actually, we got to go past this one because we got to wait for Chris to get back. Never mind. Because those are for Chris. All right. Here's one we can all answer. This is from James. It says, "I have 7 kiddos from the ages of 15 down to 6 months. We stream Netflix, Hulu, and games, consoles, and PCs. Multiple devices are online at a time. Right now I'm using a cheap Netgear wireless N+ router. What router do you recommend?" and says, thanks, James. James, thanks for the email. And I basically sent James a email back just telling him that I use the Linksys AC1900. And that's probably a little higher end than most people need. I just wanted to make sure. I looked at it like this: the more, for my size house and where everything's at and all the wireless devices we have, the more antennas that I could have that I could point in certain directions would help get the signal to different portions of the house. So that's why I chose that one. You know, Asus has got some nice ones out there. How about you guys? What do you guys use?
Right now, I just have a cheap Linksys router. I'm going to be getting a WatchGuard router in my house, which is probably overkill for most people's houses, since they're
Right.
$600-700 routers. But when I built my house, I wired gigabit networking to all the rooms, so I have access points scattered throughout the house.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about having a strong antenna in one location. I can have network cables all over the house. Network, jacks.
Sure.
All in every room, at least one.
Wired is still the best way to go. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you still got to have that. You still got to have that router to plug into. So, and I think, to be honest with you, for a lot of techs out there, especially if you are a tech, and I don't know if James is or not, but if you are, maybe sometimes getting these higher end routers that you can kind of play with on your own network is a good way to learn them, so that when you're giving them to businesses, you've got a better understanding of exactly what you can do with those, versus just having a regular, what I call the $50 inexpensive routers.
Well, one thing you didn't say is the bandwidth he's getting either. So, I mean, all those devices all on streaming at once, does he have a 2 up, 2 down connection or a 100 meg up and down connection?
Yeah, true. Yeah, because even I've got over 100 down and 20 up here, and I watch HD video streaming to my television, which is a floor below me, using the router I use, and it works perfectly fine. So,
wireless or hardwired?
Wireless.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you got a bad connection, it doesn't matter what kind of router you have. You try and have too many devices, it's going to be bad no matter what you do.
That's a good point. Yep, definitely something to think about. And Corey, how about you?
So I've got a Linksys. I don't even remember what it's a VoIP router. I've got it because it has VoIP and it has QoS. So those are the two sort of selling features for me. But one thing I know from my business is a good router makes a huge difference. A lot of guys will cheap out, buy a really lousy router, and because of the nature of my product and the way it sends data across the wire, and a fair bit of it, if you have a lousy router, it gets gummed up over time. You have to reboot it. You have to update the firmware all the time. Sometimes the firmware, like for the lower end companies, they don't release updated firmware that often. So I know I can speak from experience. A good router makes a huge difference.
Okay, that's good. And for the audience out there that don't know, what is QoS?
I'm sorry, quality of service. So if you want to say this port on this router has a certain amount of is insured a certain amount of bandwidth, QoS, which is quality of service, will ensure that particular connection always has a certain amount of bandwidth associated with it.
Absolutely. And that's a lot of times that's why I buy a little bit higher end routers than just the inexpensive ones, because you can do more of that. And as a gamer, even though we're wired and stuff, if I have to push more bandwidth to my computer so I can beat my kids, then that's important to me. I give them less bandwidth so they lag out and I can win the game. Because at my age, that's the only way I can do it. So. Just kidding. No, but it is important. Like if you're pushing, like I said, the wireless signal goes to my TV. I can watch HD video from there, from Amazon, from Vudu, or any of the streaming services, no problem. Netflix, and it works perfectly fine in HD and does what I need it to do. So, anyways, James, hope that answers your question. All right, so here is a question. We'll see what answers we have here. It says, hey, Jeff, thank you for answering my question on processes a couple weeks ago. I believe it's a subject that would need to be touched on every so often, since processes tend to change and or be tweaked every once in a while. I know mine does. I have a question concerning hard drive cloning. I've used software cloning programs, Acronis, and hardware devices like the StarTech H hard drive duplicator dock. Is there a real difference other than the fact that one is hardware and the other software? Is doing one or is doing it one way better than the other, you and the others' input would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, and keep up the great work. P.S. I would rather stick a fork or any other kitchen utensils in my eye. Classic, LOL. I will be using that from now on. I will let you know how that goes. Best regards, George V. Thank you for the email, George. And what do you guys have to say for that? Is there, do you guys do any of that, hard drive cloning or making images or anything like that?
Yeah, we have. I just got one of those disk duplicators as well recently, and it works fine. And you say it's hardware, but it's actually, I'm sure, software embedded in it. It's running it, probably some Linux embedded thing running it. So I don't have a problem with them. I've used them a few times with disk duplicators, and they work fine. Actually, it takes the guesswork out because I've had techs overwrite, the target, the
yes.
swapped.
Target and source, yeah.
So if you're doing it in software, you gotta be careful. If you're controlling, if you have to set them. But I like the disk duplicator. It's portable. I don't have to have a computer taking up bench space to clone a drive. So I've been using disk duplicators, and I'm happy with them. And I think I have the StarTech one as well.
Okay. Yep. Corey, how about you? You don't probably do any duplicating, do you?
I'm going to have to defer to you guys on this one. I'm out of my depth here.
I've talked with Scott Moulton from myharddrivedied.com, and basically my basic understanding is the difference is when you're trying to load a hard drive onto a operating system, whether it be Linux or Windows or whatever, a lot of times those are going to load different things up on the drive. They may not work as well. I think the only difference to me is a lot of times when you're just using a piece of hardware, it's just going to take a sector by sector, byte by byte image of that drive and send it to the other drive. Now, I will tell you, if you're using a hard drive duplicator, though, this is important too, just like Matt talked about. I bought one specifically that said hard drive 1, hard drive 2, and then target and source, and there's no way in the world, unless you're just not looking at it, that you can mess it up. So there's a lot of them, they don't even say that. They might have a little T or a little S or whatever, and so they move from one point to another, but you definitely have to be careful with that. But the one I got, I don't think there's any way I can mess it up unless I was drunk or tired. I don't know. Either way, but
and it's easier to mess up the old running Ghost, because if you have to know IDE, if you're what port you're on, IDE 0,
right.
IDE 1, right. Which one's which, and same size, same make and model, you have to go trace the cables and see which one's where, and I've seen techs overwrite the wrong one.
I'm sure it happens all the time, so unfortunately. Chris, are you back with us? He's popped in and I don't see him. So anyways, all right. So anyways, George, I hope that helps give you an explanation. And I would definitely say listen to My Hard Drive Died over on the Podnutz Network. We've got plenty of shows there, and we talk about the differences and what you can do with either of these ways of doing your duplication.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing. At the disk I've been cloning are working drives. They just might need a bigger drive.
Gotcha.
They have a 100 gig drive, now they want a 500 gig drive. I haven't used a disk duplicator to try and I wouldn't try and clone a failing drive. There's other tools for that. This is, does he mean cloning good drives, or is he trying to do data recovery?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. One of the things that I had, what you'll also find out is a customer just brought me a computer that basically they had cloned the drive themselves, and they went from like a 250 gigabyte hard drive to a terabyte hard drive, and they replaced the hard drive and everything themselves and did all that. The problem was a lot of times when you're using, I don't know what software they use, but whatever they use only basically cloned the partitions that were on that other drive. So you have all, like 600 and some odd gigs of unallocated space. And so the problem is, depending on where those partitions are. So in other words, if a partition if your C drive, which is your operating system partition, is in between the little thing it needs for the master boot record and the recovery partition, and then you have all your unallocated space after the recovery partition, you can't use any of the regular Windows tools to actually extend that hard drive or extend that space. So you have to use a third-party tool, and even some of those I've found, like eSys, would not move that partition over for me.
So then you blow away the recovery partition and expand the C partition.
You could do that, except that I didn't want to get. I don't ever get rid of recovery partitions if they're working myself.
Yeah.
Not on Dell HPs and all those kind of machines. But anyways, so that's one of the things to remember. Yeah, sometimes you gotta move that stuff around and get your partition back in order. But yeah, I've found. I just used one yesterday. It was AEM. I'll have to look at the link for it. But anyways, it was a partition piece of software. It was free to use, and I tested it out, and I actually did exactly what I needed it to do. So I think.
I'd like to know that because I've tried the ESUS, and I've had good results, and then I've had bad results where it just hosts the whole drive. I stopped using it because it hosts too many drives.
That might be a good point. And Chris looks like he's back with us now.
So far.
All right. So Chris, you got a solid signal?
Well, no, it's not a signal problem. I just found out that my car charger doesn't work, so I had to run to a gas station and get a new one.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, 4 hours in traffic, my battery is depleting the whole time.
Well, that tends to happen when you're using your phone.
Unless it's plugged into a proper charging.
Right. All right. Well, while you're here, we were just talking about hard drive duplicators and stuff like that, but I've got a couple of questions for you before we lose you again.
Okay.
All right, so we got a couple emails from a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to get these answered. It says, hi, Jeff. I recently got hired for an IT position at a local company in my area. Basically, the owner of the business runs web hosting, but his clients are asking for an off-site IT department for their businesses. Before I was brought onto the team, the owner was doing all the IT support for his clients. Now that I am part of his business, he has tasked me to help him find a good product that will allow us to monitor client computers, receive tickets, and also do remote support all from one dashboard. I know of GFI because Chris always uses it in his business. What do you think would be a good solution for a small business that is going towards being an MSP? And my boss has also mentioned that he would like it to be cross-platform that would work across Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, and even Linux. Thanks, Jason. Jason, thank you for the email. And Chris, what do you have to say to that?
GFI doesn't do Linux as far as I know, actually.
Okay.
I could be very, very wrong about that, but I never tested GFI on Linux. However, we have switched to Enable, and Enable does support Linux. One thing that you're going to wind up seeing, though, is the price difference between the two is pretty extreme. And it's just because of the functionality that's involved. So really, if you want to take a look at that, I cannot say, take this platform, this is the platform for you, because I have no idea how far you want to support your clients. So right. Do yourself a favor, call SolarWinds for Enable, call GFI. I can't even remember what company it is anymore. They just changed. Max Focus, there, thank you. And have them both demo their stuff for you. Both of them will have salespeople that will demo everything for you. You can take a look at the features and see what works for you.
And that's what I tell a lot of people. I say, you know what, a lot of these things have a 30-day trial. So, you know what, try one, see what it does. Try another one, see what it does, and then, kind of formulate a plan and see what's going to work best for you in your business.
Yeah, and how much you can afford to put down as an initial investment. I mean, with GFI will host everything for you, and Enable will too. But if you want to get the most out of your Enable, then you're going to want your own server. So there's a lot of things to consider with that.
Okay.
And don't just rely on the trial. Call the support and ask them questions, have them show you things.
Yeah.
Well, have a salesperson do a demo. Both companies will actually have a salesperson go through and demo the product for you and show you what it does. And their job is to find out from you what you want so that they can show you how their product will do what you're asking.
Right.
So take that time, make that appointment, and that will be one of the best time investments you're going to wind up with if you're going to get into a managed service plan. Or you can just call us and we'll do it for you. And
there you go. What were you going to say, Matt?
But don't use the whole 30 days and try to figure it out on your own. Use those 30 days, call them, ask them questions, hound them over and over again in those 30 days or whatever the trial period is, because they want to make a sale. So don't just read the manual. I mean, read the manual, but don't just read the manual and say, this is too confusing and forget about it. call them and bug them, and they'll show you everything you want to know.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think one of the things, and I've said this quite often, is that software is quite confusing until you get used to it. And I don't care what it is. It's always been that way. Because every programmer, I'm sure, has a certain way that they think about doing things. And every company is growing, they have certain ways that they want to do things. And so you just got to ask them and let them show you what's already been done, so you're not sitting there going, and like you said, Matt, using up those 30 days, and then you're going, never mind, I'm going to move on to something else. We use
GFI. We use GFI, and I'm not sure where he's located at, but GFI is having a conference in D.C. I mean, if he's near D.C. in September, he can go to the conference and get a lot of information about GFI.
There you go.
Yeah. I was going to say, a lot of these conferences, we were talking about CompTIA here in Chicago, and there's a lot of, ASCII conferences and stuff like that are coming up that, we'll have these vendors and things there that you can talk to, some of these people and, kind of get an idea of, what they do and in some of the different seminars that I'm sure some of them are doing. So, yeah, very cool. All right, and Chris, this one is also partially for you.
Okay.
It says, hi, Jeff. I'm sure you have a lot of, even though they say, hi, Jeff. I'm sure you have a lot of emails to get through on today's show, but if you have time, I'd like to hear Chris's input on why they switched from Max Focus to Enable. I'm in the middle of choosing one of these two platforms for my company, and some first-hand experience is always useful. Also, are you using one of these products? If so, care to shine some light on it and why you chose it? Thanks for producing such a great show. John Hance, and thank you, John, for the email. And I will say that, yes, I've switched over because I'm using Chris's platform right now, and I'm using the Enable, and so far, I really like what I see. So, Chris, why don't you tell us what the reasons are for switching?
Sure. A lot of it for me came down to functionality and what the platform can do. So, I mean, GFI, it was doing great, and it was keeping everything clean for us and doing everything that we asked it to do. And then I'd start being asked, hey, can you install this software on all the computers? Well, no, I can't do that. Well, I mean, I could do that with GFI, but it was a giant pain because GFI didn't have access to PowerShell because you had to turn off a bunch of security settings that I wasn't comfortable with. And Enable was basically like, oh, yeah, we can give you PowerShell access. Right. Then I found out about the registry editor right through the dashboard, and I found out about where?
Oh, there you are. You dropped off for a second.
Oh, okay. I can push arms right through the software, and it's just so many things that I could do with Enable that I could not do with GFI, and it wound up being this whole new thing for us. So that's what it was. We got more features, and it was a bigger bang for our buck. That said, we're at the 700 to 800 workstation range. So it wound up being fairly affordable for us to switch over, whereas somebody who has less than 100, that might be a little bit out of the price range.
Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, you might have to start with one and then kind of work it and see what it does, and then if you go beyond if it doesn't meet your needs as you grow, then maybe you can move to something else like Enable. So those are good points. All right. Well, I think that answers that question. All right. And do you have any, Matt, you said you use GFI at your business?
Right. We use GFI.
Okay. And it does everything you need it to do for your business, correct?
I'm sure we could probably do more, but like I said, they're all complicated until you learn all the features of them. So I'm going to the GFI conference in D.C. in September to hopefully learn more about it. Okay.
Good point. Very cool. All right, so let's move on to another email here. All right, it says, hey, Jeff, it's Josh at Your PC Magician. In last week's show, you guys briefly mentioned selling services on Amazon. I've been on the platform for a couple months and haven't had a single job through Amazon. There's only a couple shops in my area selling the services they offer. So far, it hasn't worked for me, but luckily, it's free for me. I'd be curious if you have heard anyone having success with it. I guess I should stay on the platform because it's free, but I doubt it'll be a reliable revenue stream. Anyway, thanks for the podcast. Love the discussions and chemistry between you, Chris, and the others who frequent the show. Take care. Josh from PCMagician.com. Now, we'll tell you that Josh sent up a, hey, Chris, are you like driving down the road now?
With windows down?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
How long ago did they start that?
Well, I think he said like a month ago, or just, I mean, a couple months.
Amazon in general.
It sounds like a couple months. Oh, when did they start that? It sounds like a couple months ago, I think. Right. Or anything else. I know when I bought a bracket today, it asked me if I wanted somebody to install it. So, a bracket. A bracket for a monitor. Yeah.
Right. Do you get a warranty for that too, Jeff? Because you might need a warranty now as well.
Yeah. You know, if they start doing that stuff, I'm probably going to get really irritated, even though I love Amazon. So, anyways, here's a second email. Here's a follow-up email from Josh, and it says, Jeff, timing is crazy sometimes. The day after I sent my email to you, I got my first Amazon services job. Here's how the process went. I got an email from Amazon with the client's name and the service they ordered. Then I had to confirm the appointment from 3 time slots that the client selected. I had the option to propose a different time, but I went ahead and confirmed 1 time slot that the client selected. Amazon also recommended that I reach out personally to the client for a friendly introduction and to confirm the appointment once more. The service will be Monday, and I'd be happy to report back my experience while performing the service and getting my payment from Amazon. Hope my upcoming experience will be able to help other techs decide whether or not to use Amazon. Josh McClure from PCMagician.com. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate the follow-up, and definitely follow up with us and let us know how it goes. I know Paco LeBron has told me about it a few months ago, and he has signed up and is checking that out there. So hopefully within I would say a 6-month period, we'll start seeing if it's something that Amazon's going to stick with, if it's something that's actually helping computer techs in the field.
No, I've never heard of this, Jeff. What is this?
So basically,
For those who haven't heard of it as well.
Basically, Amazon has started a service up of you can basically sign up as a computer repair person, as far as I know. Now, I haven't done it myself, but if you sign up for their service, if somebody is buying something through Amazon, let's say they're buying a power supply or they're buying a hard drive or something like that, what they're going to do is they're going to get, if they don't know how to put the hard drive in or power supply or whatever, they're going to get a recommendation of local people in their area that can service them and take care of replacing that part or installing a TV or whatever. And so Amazon will say, hey, do you need help with that service? And you can say yes or no. I just saw it today when I was doing an Amazon order. So, I said no because I can mount the bracket myself. But, some people can't do that type of stuff or don't want to spend the time to do that stuff. So, and so basically, like he said, that it sounds like they give you some time slots to choose from. You pick those those time slots. You pick which one you want. Show up to the customer's house, take care of their their business, and I would imagine get paid through Amazon.
My first thought on that is this sounds like a nightmare. Okay. First of all, let's say a user is buying a new video card. So if he knows enough to buy the correct video card, either someone directing him to buy that, or he's enough of a tech that he knows how to install it because he's buying it. What I would be concerned about is somebody is buying a part, they want you to go install it, they bought the wrong thing, because users, as we know, tend to do that, and you go up to install it, you can't install it because they bought the wrong thing. Do you get paid?
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good question. Well, you know what, though? I mean, here's the thing. Somebody's got to try that out. So, Josh and you guys out there, definitely try this out and report back to us and let us know how it works so we can tell others whether it's worth their time or not.
Yeah. And another thing is, how many times do you work on somebody's computer where there's only one issue? How many times do you get to, while you're here kind of thing, right? That's going to be outside the scope of what they pay Amazon for.
Exactly.
But then if you tell them no, the user might get upset and say he didn't do what I wanted him to and not want to pay Amazon. And Amazon, with their good customer service, is going to say, okay, don't worry about it then. We won't. Don't pay us. That's just, that whole thing sounds to me like a nightmare.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because with a product, if you buy a product, you can return the product. The person who sold it gets their product back. But in this case, it's time, it's labor. You're not going to get your time and labor back.
Or we should have those things.
Definitely should.
Oh no, I do. But I'm saying there's a lot of people out there that they don't charge those fees, and
I think that anyone who does things that are not.
ooh, that's a good way to pimp that, my friend. Exactly. That's right. It's absolutely free. You just got to get there, right? And you got to rent a room. Got to rent a room or bunk with somebody or something. I'm sure there you go. And not only that, Chris will be there. Myself will be there, and Matt also will be there. So, and of course Corey Fruitman, who was on a little bit earlier, he will also be there. Be a lot of people there. Yeah, a lot of people. All right. That's right. Or, 2 Americans.
Americans?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Matt is quite a ways away from me, I can tell you that.
Yes.
He's like down towards the way southern part of the state. And I'm like I'm so close to Canada, it's not even funny. I almost could be considered Canadian. I'm that close.
Oh, you know what? Don't even say that. Okay, domestic flights in your country are a lot cheaper than ours, so I'm not concerned with it.
It seems like a lot of things, for whatever reason, are cheaper in this country.
That's because there's so many of you.
We all pay a lot of taxes. What's the tax rate? Like 80% over there?
80%. Well, you're going to have a good time in Chicago because it's going to be a little bit cheaper for you. Ooh. Well, if you need to borrow some, just let me know. Yes, you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's, with all that banter, let's move on with another email. All right. This is from John from Spartan Nation, Michigan. So I'm assuming he's somewhere in the area. Yeah, Michigan State, Spartan. Okay, I am a long-time listener, first-time caller. Yeah, well, I think my questions might merit an entire show. Recently, my 10-year-old Windows 7 AMD PC died. For years, I have dealt with freeze-ups that would require a hard shutdown and reboot. Oh, we've all been through that. I did all sorts of updates and scans to determine the issue, but no resolution. The capability to boot into Windows occurred after I did a driver update along with Windows updates, and then my PC could no longer find my main hard drive. I took the hard drive to other PCs, and it was not recognized as a volume. So last night, I ran a live Linux disk, and the PC froze up. So I'm thinking RAM or mainboard. It may be time for a new PC. Should I buy a PC or build one myself? I saw an i7 Lenovo online for $650, but the video card was basic. So what do you guys think? Any ideas on salvaging the parts? I don't want to rip somebody off on eBay if the parts are bad. It has 2 video cards, AMD Radeon 4670, and a TV input card. Any hope for my hard drive? I would try SpinRite, but since my hard drive can't be detected, I am out of luck. This is from John Kirk. Thank you for the email, John, and I will tell you that as a technician, keeping a computer for 10 years, you shouldn't be doing that. No, I personally, I mean, I've always passed my computers down to my children and things like that, but my basic operating system that I use, my production machine, is usually no more than 3 or 4 years old at any given time. That's just the way I operate. As a matter of fact, this one, the machine I'm on right now, is coming up on year number 3. Might be a little bit over 3 years, or it's right around there. And I'm kind of getting the itch, even though the sad thing is there's really nothing out there to move up into. So it's kind of like everything works perfectly right now. So who knows? This one I might just replace the video card down the road and keep it for a couple more years. We'll see. But yeah, it sounds like a computer, and this is what I tell my customers all the time, a computer that's that old, a lot of times is just not worth trying to figure out exactly what's failing, because even if you fix what's failing now, there's probably other things that are going to fail shortly thereafter, and you're still going to have a non-working machine. So it's definitely time to upgrade. Now, whether you should buy one or build one, I personally, myself, I like to build my own machines because I know what's going in there, and the parts in the machines tend to last longer than buying something off the shelf, an HP, Lenovo, Dell, whatever, especially for a desktop computer. Now, if you're buying a laptop, it doesn't matter. You're going to end up with, getting a regular manufacturer's laptop anyway. So, but if I was building a desktop, I'm still going to build my own desktops. And it's fun. Matt?
Well, I agree. 10 years. That's extreme. Lifespan of a computer, 3 to 5 years. I don't even keep cars 10 years. I mean, I keep cars 5 years. I change computers and cars every 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
But I don't build my own computers. We're resellers for Dell, HP, Lenovo. I can get a good computer way cheaper than I can build it. I don't have time to build it. I used to build all computers. For 10 years I built computers, and I just don't do that anymore.
Gotcha.
Most of my computers now are laptops anyway. I did just get a Dell 9020 Micro. I mean, really small little thing, just so my daughter can use it for school. But I'm not going to build one that small either. So I personally, my brother called me and asked me the same question: should I build a computer or should I buy a computer? And he's not very technical. I told him you should definitely buy one. And he said, "Well, I can get better parts if I build it myself." I said, "Yes, you can. Do you know which parts you want to put in it?" He says, "Well, that's what I was going to ask you." I said, No. This is why I'm telling you to buy it, because I don't want to research parts for you. I don't want to come over there and fix your computer and build your computer. I don't build my own computers. So I told him to buy a computer. What did he do? He built the computer.
And of course, so now you got to support it, right?
I'm not going to support it. I went over there once. He says, "Hey, can you help me just install the processor on the motherboard?" I said, "Well, that's pretty easy. You just clamp it down." But he wanted me to do it, so I was there for 2 hours building the thing, not just the motherboard. I had to do everything for 2 hours, and I said, "This is why I told you to build a computer. I don't spend 2 hours building my own computer. So I'm going to help you here, but after that, you're on your own."
All right, very, very good answers. Now, Chris, what do you say to that?
And I don't game, so I have no. I don't do any gaming at all.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I'm in the same boat, right? Because we do, I mean, I do some audio production on here, but I don't really need this machine to do audio production. Now, if I was doing video, it would probably be better for video. But as far as playing games, yeah, absolutely. That's why I have a higher end system, 32 gigs of RAM, Core i7, quad core, 3 point whatever, 8 gigahertz. I don't even know anymore. And it works fine. And 780 GTX, NVIDIA card, video card. But because I game, as a matter of fact, before we came on the show today, I was for the first time in a while, I was able to sit down and play some Castle Wolfenstein. So the New Order. Yeah, that was fun. Anyways, yeah, if I agree with these guys. If you just need a machine to work and do things, day-to-day things, then go ahead and purchase a machine. If you want to, be able to upgrade it. And here's the thing: I always tell people, I've really never upgraded any of my machines except for the video card. So in other words, if I keep a machine for 5 years because the processor and everything I bought was a little higher end and it lasts a little bit longer, I might change a video card out in that 5 years, right? But the reality is, by the time you go to buy a new motherboard, processor, whatever the RAM is, at the time, it's actually most of the time it's just cheaper just to buy everything at once instead of actually upgrading. There really is no. I mean, it's nice to say that you can upgrade, but I don't know that there's a great upgrade path to these machines because, like I said, by the time there's new parts out, they're so cheap anyways. You just you might upgrade and you might maybe keep a power supply or maybe keep a case or a DVD player or something like that. Even if you put any of those things in.
I mean, that was part of the question too. Is that this machine isn't working? Should I try to salvage the parts? And I mean, even if the parts weren't 10 years old, which
Right. Good point. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't sell any of those parts. I would call, either a local salvage for computer parts, and they might give you a little bit of money, or you can, at least get rid of them, in a nice manner where you're not just filling the landfill. But yeah, there's 10 years, you got your time and money out of that computer, absolutely. So. Okay.
What I want to do is make stickers to put on the computers and put Best Buy dates. And, yeah, expires for Best Buy. So they say, why am I computer slow? What's the Best Buy date say? 2 years ago? Oh yeah, that thing's no good. That's expired.
They're saying Chris is like that teacher from Charlie Brown. I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, guys, if you're in the chat room today, I think I'm the only one in the chat, and so I'm concentrating on other things. Chris is out on location, and so I haven't really been paying attention to everything that's on there. But yeah, yeah, I hear Chris just fine. But yeah, he's he does kind of sound like that Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. Anyways, all right, so let's get into a little bit of subject, a little topic here, and this is something we've been holding off for a few weeks. We got through our emails, so I just want to thank everyone for sending emails. Send more. We will answer those questions, and definitely call into the show live, and we can answer those questions right on the air while we're here. But anyways, one of the subjects that I want to talk about, and this is all customer-based, should we or do we have an obligation to protect our customers?
That's not. Could you be more vague?
Well, there's a reason for that, because talking about protecting our customers, we talk about things like antivirus on the machines. We talk about things like using a managed service like a GFI or Enable or something like that to make sure that Windows updates are done. That basically the customer is protected from bad things happening to them. Now, we know none of these things are 100%. It's just like backups and stuff like that. But I also know there's a lot of people that don't sell any of those services. They basically will fix your computer and give it back to you, and then that's the end of that. So as far as a service industry, do we have an obligation to at least let our customers know, hey, do you have a backup? Do you and try to sell them a backup, or we have a managed service we can sell you, and try to sell them that service, or is it okay to just go, fix the machine, turn around, and go on to the next one?
Well, I think that a lot depends on your business model. So if you're bringing it to a store, their only involvement is fixing what you told them is wrong. If you're their tech and you're the ones who knows their system, and you have an ongoing relationship with them, then yes, you should be recommending what they need to run, what they need for protection, what they need to back up their data. So yeah, it depends on your relationship with the customer.
Okay, Chris? Gotcha.
So let's say a customer has no relationship with they need to upgrade more RAM. They want one more RAM in their computer. They go to some store and they say, I want more RAM. Customers get pretty upset if they then say, well, let's look at your video card. How about upgrade that? How about upgrade your power supply? They feel they're trying to oversell them because that's not their relationship with the customer. They went in there for a specific thing, so the customer's probably not open to any suggestions they have anyway.
You're right, but it depends on how you're doing it. So let's take that upgrading RAM as an example. So customers upgrading their RAM, and if you are keeping yourself protected, then you're going to have a form that they're going to fill out, like on the technical business kit that talks about, okay, here's what's in the computer, here's what you're dropping off, and maybe one of the questions that you ask them is, hey, do you have your data backed up in case something goes wrong with your hard drive while your computer's in here? Now, there are going to be some customers that are going to say, oh, I'm not going to bring my computer to your shop if you think something's going to go wrong with it. Well, we don't think that something's going to go wrong with it, but you don't think that your computer needs new RAM until you have to get it done.
Right.
So that dialogue can open up between you and the client where they say, no, I don't have my computer backed up. Okay, well, we really highly recommend that you back up your data before we do any work on it. Would you like to back up the data yourself? Do you want us to do a one-time backup, or do you want an automatic backup? Right? You're giving them three separate choices, one of which doesn't have any cost to it at all. So, if you're just opening up the dialogue and you do it right, upselling is easy. Customers want to buy things. You just have to give them the option to buy from you rather than trying to sell something to them.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, but what I'm saying is a lot of customers, because I have family and friends that have told me they go somewhere and they go for one specific thing and they spend talking to this person for an hour or two and they trying to convince them to upgrade the RAM, the power supply, get your antivirus isn't good enough, let's sell you mine, let's do this and that. So I mean, that's their business model. They only have interaction with the customer when the customer comes to them for a specific issue. Whereas my business model is we're a full-service professional computer company. We have ongoing relationships with our customers, so we do look out for their interests and what they need to keep their business running and protected.
Yep.
Yeah. I completely see where you're coming from. I mean, I'm kind of in a unique position where I get to see the different sides to all of these different types of businesses. And what I found is that no matter what it is that you're trying to sell, or no matter what it is that you're trying to do, or what your business model is, there's always room to add something else that some of your customers are going to take and some of them aren't. You don't need to have an ongoing relationship with your customers to sell them something, and if you do a good enough job, they're going to come back. So it's just a matter of how you want to run your business and how much time you want to put into something like that.
Very good points. All right. Well, yeah, hopefully that, I agree with all those all the way around. It does depend on the business model and depends on what you're doing And, you know, in my business, I try to create that personal relationship with the customer, and so I really want to protect them the best that I can. Now, they're not always going to, you know, want that protection, but I'm going to at least try to offer it to them, because I know for a long time, you know, I didn't offer them anything. I just said, hey, I fix your computer, pay me, and move on. I've kind of changed my tune with that stuff now. So, so second question. Okay, bad customers, how do you deal with them?
How bad?
I don't.
Drop them. Drop them.
Drop kick them. Yeah, get out of here.
It depends bad in which way. Bad they don't pay. Bad that they. I mean, there's really no bad customer calling too much, but maybe complaining about just overall complaining. I mean, it depends on bad in what way, because there are different ways I'll handle different types of bad customers.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. There's a lot of things that if a customer is bad in, you know, either they, whether they're complaining about the price, or, you know, they want you to do things, you know, for next to nothing, or they don't pay. I will tell you that, yeah, you've got a couple of things you can do. You know, if a customer's not paying, then obviously that's probably not a person I'm going to do business with over the long haul, right? But if a customer's sitting there complaining all the time about the price and this and that and the other, you know, or they're trying to get, you know, cheaper, you know, get discounts and different things like that, a lot of times what I just do is I raise my rates, and, you know, they tend to go away. Chris?
For us, if they don't pay or slow pay, we don't have any clients that refuse to pay. We do have some that are very slow paying.
Okay.
That might owe us thousands of dollars, and it's 120 days out. I mean, in those cases, they're going to call for service, and when they do, that's when good opportunity to tell them, "It's great, I know you're down. I want to get you back up as soon as possible. Let's get your account up to date as far as payment, then we can take a look at your current issues." And then from then on out, we make sure some clients have actually told you have to prepay because it's too hard to collect from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clients that are complaining about the price, I mean, I tell them, you know what our price is. This is our price. It hasn't changed. So there's no reason for you to complain about it because you knew the price before you called for service. So,
right.
I mean, those are easy to deal with. Now, the customer that you never make happy, that's the worst kind of bad customer. No matter what you do, bend over backwards, they're never happy. That's the hardest one, in my opinion, to deal with.
So do you continue to deal with that customer, or you just say, you know what, we're not a good fit here. We need to.
I mean, we've dropped some before. Yeah, I mean, we usually have a conversation with them, asking them what their expectations are and what way we're not meeting their expectations, and we usually try and discuss it. And it depends on their reaction as what we do next. So, but we've had to just part ways with some customers.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had to do it too. I don't like with our rates. I have never had anybody argue about our rates. So we don't charge a whole lot for our white label service. So if anybody's arguing with our prices, they shouldn't be in business. So that's, you know. But I've had the client hasn't paid yet, client's late to pay, client won't pay. I've sent people to collections, I've had to do all of those things, and basically what my attitude is listen, you know, I'm not a monster, great, I am a business person. I have absolutely every respect for somebody who has fallen behind on their bill. I have every respect for somebody who, you know, hey, maybe they haven't brought in as much money this month as they were supposed to, or maybe they fell behind on some bills or whatever. And I am more than happy if that person calls me ahead of time to say, hey, listen, I'm going to be a bit late, or hey, listen, can you give me an extra 30 days? No problem. Because that customer is communicating with you and they are showing you that they have every intention of paying. It's when those customers stop having the intention to pay, or their intention to pay goes past 90 days, that's when you need to start worrying. That's when you need to start pushing back. I've suspended service. I've canceled service. It's not something that anybody wants to do, but you got to do it. The only people that I will not work with are the people who just stop responding to you when their bill's behind. And when you ask them about it, they just leave it alone until they have the money. Those are the clients that I won't deal with.
Right. Well, hopefully that goes kind of into our. So yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about that. You know, what in Matt, you kind of hit on this. Disagreeable clients. Some personalities don't seem to mix. How do you manage or draw the line when in such a situation? And I think you hit that at, you know, if your personality is not mixing, and this is my own personal opinion, is that's not a customer I want to work with. So I just, you know, I could always say, well, you know, yeah, they're paying their bills, but if I dread when a customer is actually going to call me and they want service, and I dread that time that I've got to service them, in my opinion, you know, especially being a one-man band, I basically am going to go, you know what, we're just not a good fit for each other. But that's my take. Now, other people will just go, no, it's just service, whatever, doesn't matter.
Well, sometimes if the ones that complain, one of the things we do when we talk to them is, what are your issues? Where are we not meeting your expectation? And they'll say, for instance, well, I call you for service, I don't need to call back for a long time. Okay. So we'll go look at the work orders, and we'll see what time they call, what time we call them back, and we'll show that to them and say, well, your average response time is about an hour. You know, you're not a service agreement customer, so your best effort return phone call. So at this point, 1 hour is pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But they complain. And
especially without an SLA. Come on.
And then when they see that, they say, well, you know, but then they'll come up with something else, and then we'll check the work orders, and we'll say, well, no, this says this. I mean, some people just complain no matter what, and sometimes they leave, and they go somewhere else, and they come back to us after a year, and then our rates are higher because now they're a new customer and they're at the current rate, and they complain about that. Say, well, you know, this is a rate for new customers. Well, I've been a customer. Oh, let me see here. Well, this email says you're discontinuing service. That was a year ago, so that would mean you're a new customer now. So, but we've had customers leave, come back, leave, and those people, if they leave twice, they're gone. We're not going to take them back.
Okay.
I mean, if you leave once, you test the waters, you're going somewhere else. You come back, you realize you're wrong, no problem. We'll take you back. But you leave again, good luck.
Right, exactly. Chris, you were going to say something? No, he must be going under a bridge.
For credit, or are they usually actually complaining because they think that they're not getting the service that they deserve?
We heard half of that, I think, huh?
Yeah. What was the whole question, Chris? We lost you.
Oh, sorry. The question that I was asking is, these clients that are calling in and complaining about the service time, or complaining about, you know, just pulling things out of the air, and you're saying, no, the tickets are reflecting this, so I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Do you find that they're just trying to get themselves a discount or a credit, or do they really just think that they deserve better service than they're getting?
Well, sometimes they do want to. Sometimes they're setting up, and sometimes you can tell the phone call that they're trying to set up for them to call back and complain about the price and get a discount. But I mean, sometimes they really are upset that it took, in their mind, too long for us to call back, and we remind them that we do have a service agreement level with priority callback, and we tell them, we have the emails, this was offered to you, you declined, so now you're in the best effort no service agreement callback queue, and we're still meeting in an hour, which, you know, so, but that's just some customers that you can't make them happy no matter what you do. So
right,
I mean,
exactly.
we had a customer, they overnight, they called, this is Thursday afternoon, they need a computer for the next day. Okay, overnight it. I'll prep it. We'll bring it out. And when we prep it, we uninstall all the manufacturer junk that doesn't need to be there. Install whatever Office they purchased, all the Windows updates, any software pretty much prep it almost all the way. So when we bring it on site, we just have to join it to the domain, transfer over any data, install a few printers. They complained because we got out there at 2:45 in the afternoon. So, well, I said, I'm sorry, but UPS didn't come till 10. It takes a few hours to do updates and preps. I mean, as soon as it came in, we did it. And what the even funnier part is, they didn't need the computer that day. They needed it like next week. But they were still complaining that it was 2:45 when we got out there.
Wow. Yeah, some people you just can't make happy no matter what you do. So, yeah, those ones. you got to, you know what, whatever you're willing to deal with, that's what you got to figure out for your own business, I would say. You know, for me, I would be like, man, I'll fill those clients with somebody else that I can, you know, that actually want me to help them and are not going to complain. But, you know, sometimes if they're paying the bills, I mean, and you wanted to deal with that, that's cool.
Well, yeah, but, okay, so the conversation that I keep having with everybody, my clients, and on this show, I understand the fear of, if I don't have this client, I'm not going to pay my bills. But if that's the same client that keeps making these phone calls and they're taking up all that time on you, that's the client that's stopping you from getting the new clients that are going to pay the bills that's not going to give you nearly as much of a hassle. I would rather have 3, you know, low revenue clients that take up almost none of my time than to have one client that's mid-revenue that takes up the same amount of time, because I'm going to make more money off of those 3 clients.
Well, and I will say this, it all depends on your business model, because let's preface this. Now, how many people do you have at your business there?
Techs?
Yeah, techs and, you know, people that are doing support.
Let's see, then we have 3 partners, we're techs, 5 other techs, 2 support, like answering phone calls, accounts payable, accounts receivable.
So sometimes, you know, you're passing that along to different people, and, you know, sometimes in businesses like that, I guess those things are more easily manageable when you have a disagreeable client, and you try to, you know, make it as best you can. Like Matt has said, you know, we ask them, what are your expectations, what do you want, that type of thing. But I think what it comes down to is guys like myself who are one tech and only have so much time. I agree with you, Chris, is that I'm going to take the time with the customers that don't need my assistance all the time. You know, when something happens, they're more than happy that I'm there to fix it whenever, and, you know, and they're more than willing to pay. And I'll give you an example. A lady came in to pick up her daughter from New Jersey. Okay, and I was going to tell the story earlier, but I figured I'll tell it now. So she came in. She lives, you know, her daughter lives in the area. Taking the daughter, they're going back to New Jersey. Something happened with her computer when she got here. She actually came from Japan to New Jersey to Canton, Michigan, and they were going back to New Jersey. Anyways, they were going to be here for a week. She needed her computer fixed. It wouldn't boot, you know, whatever. And so I got it. Took a couple days. Finally figured out that AVG was basically blocking it from booting. Don't know why, whatever. Anyways, got it cleaned up. You know, everything was fine on it, no problem. Fixed the problem for her. Called her up. And she said, okay, great, that's fine, I'll come pick it up. She's like, how much? And I said $89. And this is exact. She goes, excuse me? And I'm like going, okay. I'm like, $89. She goes, no. She goes, that is way too little. She goes, all the time you spend on this computer. And I'm like going, well, I said, it's my flat fee I charge. If you bring it to me, it's what I charge. And it's $89. She's like, you charge way too little. So anyway, she gave me $100, you know, gave me a little tip in there. But I know that, you know, I used to think in the way of I have to charge a certain price in order to get customers. And the reality is, and Matt, you know, I know you know this, Matt, and Chris, you know this too, is that you don't. Because there are customers out there that are more than appreciative, even though it took me like 3 days to get that particular problem figured out because it was a weird one. I did. She was more than happy. She paid me, and she's like going, you know, her son still lives in the area. Hey, if he ever needs any work, I'll send him your way. And if I need remote support, you know, I'll call you, and you can do that or whatever, you know. So I had a happy, satisfied customer who was willing to pay me, you know, a certain amount of money, which I was happy with. And the day after, I got another $5 tip just because I was able to fix a problem within like 2 hours, and it was actually fairly easy. There was a wireless driver that was missing. Fixed it, did some updates, ran some scans, got it back to the customer, gave me a tip. He's walking away from my house going, another satisfied customer, and that's what he said. So I'm like, you know, it's like, so those are the customers. My point is, those are the customers that I want. The customers that appreciate my time and knowledge that I put into something to make it better for them so that they don't have to worry about it. That's what I'm looking for. The ones that are going to sit there and complain all the time and just hem and haw about the price and I'm charging too much when I'm really not. Those are not the customers I want. So, yeah, but that's just my business.
It's the non-billable hours. Right. That's what it comes down to. When you have a client who, and I'm not talking about you do a flat a flat fee for virus removals, and this virus took a long time to deal with. That to me is not non-billable hours. You charge for that time. But when you have clients who take up a lot of extra time that are non-billable because they have, this complaint or that complaint, or, they want you to, I don't know. And I'm thinking of end user customers here. So my clients that are listening, I'm not complaining about you right now. I'm talking about your customers, by the way. But, I do a virus removal, and then I call the customer back, and they want me to spend 45 minutes explaining to them exactly what I did step by step. And then the end of that conversation turns into, well, if I had known you were just going to sit there and run a whole bunch of programs, I would have done it myself. Okay. Well, you just wasted 45 minutes of my time, and I sat here and explained all of this to you because you asked. And I think that you deserve to know what happened with your computer. So it's those types of clients that I try to avoid whenever I'm dealing with anybody one-on-one, and that's the type of customer that I tell my clients to avoid, is that you do not want to have to sit there on the phone with somebody for an hour while they complain to you about how you did the work, whether they're going to pay for it or not, because it's just not worth the time. It's not worth the aggravation. And if you see a name come up on the caller ID and the first thing you do is sigh, I don't care how much they're paying you. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
I would probably ask that customer, what do you think virus removal process involves other than running scans?
Sure. There's don't get me wrong. There's a lot of manual things that you have to do during a virus removal, but a lot of the time is spent waiting for a scan or waiting for something to happen on the computer, like Windows updates. If I had known you were just going to use Windows updates to update my computer, I would have done it myself.
But
you didn't know we were going to Windows updates. That's the whole point.
That's right.
Exactly.
And that's why you paid me to take care of it for you. So what's the problem?
One thing we get sometimes is we're doing a remote virus removal, and it takes 6 hours of running scans, and they complain about the bill, and we'll ask them, well, I know that a bill was not sent out yet, but they're complaining about the costs. I'm like, well, show me what invoice you got so I can look up in our system. Well, I didn't get an invoice. Oh, okay. I thought you said you were complaining about the bill you got. Well, no, but it took them 6 hours. I'm going to get billed for that? Oh, no. And so sometimes they complain before they even get a bill. In anticipation of what they think the bill is going to be. And I know that we didn't send them a bill because I still look at the work order and I have to mark it as closed to bill it. And I know they didn't get it. And I said, well, just give me the invoice number of the invoice. And of course they can't.
Right.
And I said, well, let me look it up then. Oh, yeah, you're going to get billed, 1 hour labor or 2 hours labor. Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. And really, that comes down to one of two things, and the way that your operation works, I don't think this is the case for you, but setting expectations to clients and telling them like, no, we're not charging you for 6 hours, or no, we don't charge for research time or whatever, right? Just telling them halfway through that, hey, listen, I know I'm 3 hours on this, just going to let you know that I'm not going to keep billing you because of this, right? Or you've already explained it to them, but 3 hours from now they forget. And then they wind up freaking out because they're sitting there holding their credit card waiting for you to call back thinking, oh, man, this is going to be like a $700 bill. This is insane.
Yeah, and it's funny, in this case, the person I'm working on is just an employee. He has he doesn't see the bill. The company pays the bill. They have no idea what the bill's going to be, but sometimes they complain about it.
Oh, what does he care then? The company's putting the bill, just leave it alone.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes maybe he thinks he's going to get in trouble because the bill is so much because of him clicking on links. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I tell him, no, we don't charge for the time the scans. We're not actively working on the computer while scans are running. The scans take a while to run. I said, don't worry about that. But they'll forget.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You can tell them until you're blue in the face, and it doesn't. People just don't. They still don't pay attention.
No. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not sure if I mentioned, I was going to connect to somebody's computer, and I told her she was at home connecting to her office computer. So she said her office computer was having some problems. So I said, I'm going to connect to your office computer directly, and I'm going to work on it. So what I need you to do is just not connect to your office computer. And while I'm saying, she goes, okay. And while I'm working, she connects and knocks me off. I said, did you just connect to your office computer? Yes. I said, oh, okay. Well, I just asked you, just to just clarify, I need you not to log into your office computer because I'm working on it, and when you log in, you're knocking me off, and I can't work on it. Okay. 5 minutes later, she connects. I reconnected, knocked her off. She reconnected, knocked me off. I had to call her. I said, are you trying to log into your computer? Yes. Okay, well, how about this? And you let me know when I can connect, because if you need to work, then I just won't connect. Oh, I need you to connect. My computer's not working. Well, then why are you trying to connect? But the point is, they'll forget. I mean, I had told her. I mean, not 30 seconds after I said don't connect, she connected.
Yeah. See, and that's where, like, I know that there are some technicians at that point will like not bill for the time that all of that shenanigans is going on. I would. And this is because the client's causing it. I won't charge my customer for research time if I don't know the answer to something. If I stop working on the computer to go look up how to do it because I don't know, I'm not going to charge them if it takes me a half an hour. I'm going to take that half hour off the bill. It's not the customer's fault that I don't know how to fix something. But if the customer is interfering with my involvement on fixing their computer, absolutely, I'm charging for that time. It's not my fault that that's happening. So, sometimes that's where the hammer has to come down, where you just have to tell them, like, hey, listen, you know what? You do this as much as you want, but I'm still on the clock. So if you want me to fix this, you might want to just leave it alone for a bit.
Right.
I think that money speaks to people. So I don't know anything about your client or what your conversation was with her about all of this, but that's how I normally wind up needing to deal with that type of situation because money talks.
Oh yeah, she wasn't paying the bill, and she was just confused about what I meant by "don't connect." Don't connect was confusing her.
What's confusing about that? You have to click on something to connect to the computer.
Oh, I didn't know I was connecting. I thought I was just working. Well, no, you have to connect to your computer to work. So that's the part I need you not to do. She said, "What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?" I said, "I don't know. Go watch TV. Don't try to work. Don't try to work.
Right.
Don't do a crossword. Just don't do it on the computer."
Oh my gosh.
Ma'am, I need you to not move the mouse or use the keyboard for a little bit. I need to take them over. Okay, I'm just going to go on Facebook. Nope, that's not what I said.
Right.
Yeah, in my case, it happens every day. Every day this happens, I tell them, okay, I'm working on your computer. Just don't use it. When I'm done, I'm going to give you a call to tell you that I'm done. If you haven't heard from me, that means I'm not done.
Right.
They'll call in. Oh, are you done yet? No, not done. Remember, when I'm done, I'm going to give you a call and let you know I'm done. So you will have to guess if I'm done. I'm going to let you know. Half an hour later, they call back. Are you done yet?
Yeah. Ma'am, I need you to understand that my first priority is billing you guys for this service, and I can't do that until I know you're happy.
Well, luckily the receptionist is the one who answers the calls, and she knows. Her response is, oh, well, did he call you and tell you he was done? And they say no, then he's not done.
She's already programmed for it.
Oh, yeah, she knows.
Techie Tutors in the chat room.
Every single call, that's the way. No matter what job they're doing, she probably gets 15, 20 calls a day like that. Are they done? If they didn't call you, they're not done yet.
Please tell me that you bring that receptionist whatever beverage she wants every time you visit that site.
She's a very good receptionist. Very good receptionist.
Absolutely.
Hey, Techie Tutors from the chat room is saying, same thing when they don't listen of or think it's important enough to show up on time. I charge for every minute I am kept waiting.
Oh, definitely.
Too. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, you got to charge for your time. You know, whether it's just travel time or whatever it is. Yeah, if you're waiting on the customer, you know, that's all part of it. But I will say we've had a great show with a lot of good information, and I'll tell you what, Matt, if people want to find out what you're up to and where you're going to be over the next couple months, what's the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me, informedit.net, and if you want to go check that out, go check out the website, informedit.net. It's just paperwork for techs to be able to fully document their client systems to be a better tech. I'll be at CompTIA, ChannelCon, in August. And I'm actually going to be also in the GFI Conference in September.
Okay.
In DC.
Great. There you go. Matt is all over the place. You guys meet up with him, definitely can.
Yeah, and I want to say, if you go check out the forums, like them, use promo code Podnutz for 25% off as well.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have that in the show notes, and I thank you again, Matt, for that. And thanks for coming on the show and sharing with us today. Chris, if you want to tell people, what you're up to and what you're doing over the next couple months, go ahead.
Sure, yeah, and actually before I do, because Corey's not on the call anymore, guys, don't forget about Instant House Call. The link that Jeff's got in the show notes is from them to get you guys your free tickets. We use their software, so check them out. But as far as us, we are a remote support tech team. We do white label IT support for IT companies. If you want more information about us, you can email us at info@rstechteam.com. You can give us a call, 866-568-2813. And you can see us at ChannelCon because we are going to, well, I'm going to be there. I am an awesome person, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you.
With that, wow, I've got nothing. I thank you, Chris, for coming on the show.
Come on, Jeff, you always have something.
I know. I thank you for coming on the show and even on location with your, credit connection. No, it's not too bad. All right, we do Podnutz Computer Repair Podcast every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern over at podnutz.com/live. We would love if you guys would watch and join in on the conversation by hanging out in the chat room or calling in live. We also have on-demand audio and video always available after the fact over at podnutz.com and my YouTube channel, Podnutz Live Show for Computer Repair Techs. You guys can find me on the Google Plus at Jeffery Halash or Twitter at TechNutPC. If you're a computer repair tech and would like to be a guest on Podnutz Daily where you can talk about your business, send an email to podnutzdaily@podnutz.com. You guys can email questions and feedback for this show to podnutz@podnutz.com. And you can leave a voicemail at the call-in number 1-888-697-0162, and we definitely will play those on the show. Leave us a rating and review over on iTunes. That'll let more people know about the show. And you guys can help support the Podnutz Network. Next time you're shopping on Amazon, go to podnutz.com/Amazon. Remember, that doesn't change your price at all. Puts a little change in the pockets of the Podnutz Network to bring you these great shows. And I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast. Oh, we can't see Chris dance.
It's happening. It's fine.
I gotcha. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, it's already it is 5:32, so I just want to say appreciate you guys coming out, and sorry for the technical difficulties. Looks like I had the sound slider for some reason on Chris's down, so even though I was able to hear him, he basically wasn't coming through the channel for I'm not sure how long. Hopefully it was only a few minutes, and that didn't damage the recording too badly. But yeah, sorry, Chris.
People didn't hear my inspiring words of wisdom.
Some of it, most of it. Finally, by the time I figured out the problem, I think that we got most of it. So I think it was from the point of you moving the car. So we'll see everybody next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and have a great week. Talk to you then.